It's Update Monday. What's going on with y'all, big dog? And it is an amazing Monday. I hope that your Monday is going phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Speaking of Mondays, it has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months and 2 weeks of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. And I gotta say, a couple weeks ago, Sabrina actually bought me some new shoes. I don't know, just off on a whim, and it's crazy because I remember when I was younger, these were the only shoes I could afford. They were $16 a piece. We're not gonna talk about how much these ballooned in price now. We just gonna stick today with $16 before, but it really reminded me how I used to live and how I used to be as perceived by other people. For the people that do not know, I was raised in South Central LA in Long Beach, California. And to be more specific, I spent a decent portion of my adolescence in Watts, California in the Imperial Courts, and also right behind the Nickerson Gardens. Now it's kind of funny because if you know LA, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for everybody else that doesn't know, growing up, I thought Compton, and don't get me wrong, Compton's still a bad area to be in, but growing up, I actually envied a lot of people in Compton because they had the houses, and they're not bad houses. It's actually a really nice place to live in if you come from where I come from. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because talking to me over this time, you'd probably think that I did not have that life. No, I was a hoodlum. I did bad things with my friends, and I smoked with cigarettes. I did that. And that actually brings me to my lesson. There are millions of people just like me that people may prejudge based on how they look, how they talk, maybe even how they walk. One thing that I can promise you is that if you do that in life, you will miss out on so many opportunities. Always get to know someone for who they are, not for what people say about them or what you think they may be. It's a reason why I'm always rooting for the underdog, the rogue, the person that gotta get it out of the mud, because your boy had to get it out of the mud. Just like how these particular strategies are gonna do just that. These are them boys for the mud, the strategies that you gotta pull it out. If you're not the big brain player, you ain't gonna win no games. Today I'm gonna be going over the top 5 rogue decks this format. These are strategies that are not only good right now, but they're almost forbidden list proof. Dimension Force and the current format calls for these particular strategies, so if you're looking for something that's too strong, well, I suggest you try out these decks. Without further ado, let's jump on in. You know, I've always liked regular Cali. I knew it was something about him that was different. Yes, he's a hard worker, but criminal activity is definitely something I can be a part of. Anyways, in case you didn't know, the current format is filled with vermin. King Cali has used Outledge to his advantage to take over. It's one of the best strategies. Decks are also using a combination of engines. The branded engine has definitely taken over, as well as Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer and the Adventure Token engine. This is a bit of a problem. So much of a problem that Shadalls are gonna jump into the fray. This is a very good rogue deck inside of this format, because it's always been a great deck inside of this format, right? Anyways, Shadalls have a unique ability to be able to use super polymerization in a format where that's really strong. Whether it's branded decks being able to fusion summon into light and dark monsters, or Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer rearing its ugly head. That's a free Shadall construct or Shadall window of our choice. Shadalls is easily a top rogue deck for this format. I really love how players get all special summon happy with their Adventure Token engine and their fusion summoning into Verda Anaconda, and then they forget that Shadall windows a card. You only get one special summon now. Don't misuse it. On top of that, if we theoretically wanted to, the Shadall engine could play the branded engine as well. That way we have 6 copies of Shadall Fusion. And the restriction to only be able to special summon fusion monsters? Forget about it. Squamata has truly graced our presence with such a powerful rogue deck. Do not waste this opportunity that has been given to you. Another strategy that I know you may not have seen coming, but actually gets so much support in Dimension Force is Zombie World. Now, Zombie World is already an amazing strategy because it is an auto win against some of the top meta decks. Think Fluundereeze, think Tri-Brigade, think Dragon Link, think Sword Soul, bro! Resolving Zombie World is literally a win against these strategies. Not only that, two of the most powerful hand traps in this Yu-Gi-Oh card game, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and Ghost Belle of the Haunted Mansion, are both zombies. So the most fearsome monster in Doom King Balladrock can not only use its effect when those monster effects are used, if your opponent wants to use those effects against your Doom King Balladrock, you can outright negate them because there's zombies in the hand. On top of that, zombies do get some insane support from Dimension Force. The new Immortal Dragon allows you to send zombie monsters from your deck to the graveyard. You can send monsters like Necroroll Banshee, which is a free zombie world, but you can also send cards like Glow Bloom and Mizuki to be able to special summon zombie monsters to your side of the field. Zombie, hands down, already has some of the top tier meta decks on edge just by activating a field spell, and against everything else, well, I mean, we could just go the easy route, or we could go the hard route. Think about it. We can summon insane combo boards that make your opponent really scared, or just super poly their board, forehead. Stop thinking too hard. Zombies are 100% that rogue deck that you need to look out for, and if Ghost from the Past 2 is any indication with the reprints, even Konami is expecting this to be a top rogue deck. Crockett, mate. I'm really disappointed in you, Cali. Regular old Cali forgot that he got 73rd out of 800 people with this deck. So how can it not be a top rogue deck? If I gotta throw my shovel into this excavation, and I gotta say, Dinos is easily one of the better rogue decks inside of this format. Reason is because this entire format is based on summoning big fusion monsters and negation monsters that can be flipped face down. That's easy to do with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno flips those monsters face down and then allows you to attack into every single one of them each. It's a one card board wipe, mate. Not only that, you're completely unaffected by any of the disruptions, as Miscellaneous Ceres allows you to protect all of your dinosaur monsters from any of their disruptive effects. Being able to protect all your monsters from their destructive effects, and then being able to completely wipe the board is what makes Dino amazing. But if you did want to play it, I gotta say you could play it. Because it is so damn cheap, you could play the branded Fusion engine, as sending Overtext Quetless from your deck to your graveyard to be able to special summon a fusion monster of your own to the side of the field will net a double evolution pill. And seeing that you're sending Fallen Albaz from the deck to the graveyard, last time I checked, dragons ain't dinos, that's an evolution pill target, right? And I know some of your city folk may say, Outback Cali, but you can only fusion summon. When did we ever need our extra deck? Another thing to note is that players are summoning token monsters like it's candy. They act like Lost World doesn't exist. Lost World protects normal monsters on the field. Tokens are normal monsters. A lot of players know is when you activate your Faithful Adventure, you do leave a normal monster for Lost World to attempt to protect in order for you to get your combo started. So essentially them playing their turn is you playing your turn too. Kind of like how Yu-Gi-Oh has been for the past couple of, Now personally, Outback Cali is a little bit of a purist. I personally still prefer Cali's build, which you can find on Twitter, or you can go ahead and join the Discord. Dino is 100% a rogue strategy that can wax this meta, and if you don't pay attention to it, you might be soaring into the next, mate. Now this is 100% a set for us rogue players, as Dimension Force gives us another sub-strategy that works well with so many rogue decks. Therions are coming out in Dimension Force and gives us the new Therion King. This card is incredible. Therion King Regulus can special summon itself by equipping a machine monster or Therion monster in the graveyard. It also can send a Therion monster, cough cough, himself to be able to negate the activation of an effect. For machine decks, this is a free monster to your side of the field with either the ability to protect you from your opponent's hand traps or be able to negate some of your opponent's most important cards on their turn. This card single-handedly helps strategies like Earth Machine, giving them another layer of disruption or protection depending on when you're summoning it, and also Earth Machine is a really good strategy on its own. The ability to be able to wipe your opponent's board before they can make a huge play. Machina Citadel does that and doesn't stop coming back anytime an Earth Machine monster with Therion King just so happens to be destroyed, it can summon itself from the graveyard. Earth Machines are so good because it can just out-resource your opponent, but it can also employ really powerful trap cards when used in conjunction. Cards like Skill Drain and Gozen Match are amazing in this format, especially when you can combine them together. I actually talked about them a little bit last week on my Staples tier list, so if you want to know exactly where these cards sit, then go ahead and check out that video. Earth Machine 100% has some of the biggest, baddest, strongest monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! And typically doesn't care about the board that you make. It can keep on playing until you can't. And if I were to talk about one last strategy that is a really good rogue deck, doesn't have enough representation to be considered a tier 1 though, there are quite a few decks that are in that particular area, Sky Striker is actually amazing.
Hey there, Sky Striker players, my name's Chris Hansen. Why don't you have a seat right over there?
After all of these years, you would think that Sky Striker would be a dead deck, but it actually has incredible matchups all across the board. One of the biggest things that I've observed about this... Madara, you have to stop doing that. One of the incredible things about Sky Striker is that any of the spell cards that are currently being played in this format is another spell card for Sky Strikers to be able to proc their second effects. Cards like Rite of Aramesir and Fusion Destiny fit so well with the Sky Striker strategy, and even though it does place monsters to the side of the field, Sky Striker is pretty crafty at getting rid of monsters in the main monster zone when it wants to activate its effects. Fun fact, you play the Rite of Aramesir engine in Sky Strikers not to summon Wandering Griffin Rider, it's to put 3 spell cards in your graveyard. Being able to immediately turn on the second effects of cards like Sky Striker Mobilize, Engage, and Afterburners allow you to not only generate tons of advantage, but be able to destroy multiple cards on your opponent's side of the field. There's also Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon, allowing you to disrupt your opponent at really important choke points so they won't be able to pop off with their plays. On top of that, cards like Triple Tactics Talent and Forbidden Droplet are 100% making their way back into the format. This makes Sky Strikers a lot more powerful because while you're using these powerful spell cards to be able to counteract your opponent, again, you're putting more spell cards in your graveyard to support your Sky Striker cards. Sky Striker is ridiculously incredible in this format. Just ask Madara. Madara, tell him about Striker. Tell him how good it is. Jerk. Alright, I really don't do no cards or nothing, so that's really all I got. I can tell you about a cool little function that's supposed to happen at 4 p.m. today. You know, we're gonna be streaming on Twitch. It's gonna be some crazy from Master Duel, me and Marty, huh? Ain't that right, Marty Buddy? Yeah, that's right. But yeah, if you wanna know who I am, I'm RN Cali, and if you wanna see more videos, go ahead and check out these. As you know, I'll just catch you on the next one, dog.